What's going on, everybody? This is Bryant from SneakerFiles.com, recapping the news. And before I jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. Now, as for some of the highlights in this video, there's a ton of updated mockups for Holiday 2026 with colorways and blockings and new information for the season. As well, I have exclusive details on the Air Jordan 41. There is a mock-up in this video, you probably see it in the thumbnail, which is how they'll look. Now, this video is packed with Air Jordan news. As well, there's a good amount from Nike and one thing from Converse. And now, let's jump into the news. In a couple videos back, I talked about the Converse Cons Blue Kentucky Denim returning, and it was an early release that took place at Oneness. It already went down, and it was on February 28th. However, there is a wider release, or I should say, one more additional spot you can buy them from, at least that I know of, and that will be the Sneakers app. So if you're a fan of these, which in my opinion, they're really, really dope, they drop on March 13th via the Sneakers app, and the retail price will be $130. Okay, moving on to Nike, we have official photos of the Nike KD6 Peanut Butter and Jelly. Now, I did go over these photos in the March 2026 Air Jordan and Nike release dates video, so if you want to check out that video, there will be a link in the description below. But as many of you know, this is an OG colorway that initially dropped in 2013. There's quite a few KD6s that are returning this year, and when these initially dropped, I remember a lot of people liked this pair. But if you want to pick them up, they are scheduled to drop on March 20th, and the retail price will be $140. Recently, there's been a release date change for the Nike Zoom HYPERFLIGHT in black. Now, if you saw my release dates video, I did talk about the release date change, but there's a lot of people who don't watch the video, so I did want to include it in a news video rather than a release dates one. Now, I believe the initial release date was for March 27th. Either way, they're now dropping on March 20th. So they have moved up a little bit, and this will be the second colorway that releases. There are more that's coming. For example, we have the Hyper Pink pair, and then we also have the OG pair in red and black that's returning. I think they're known as Varsity Red. I have it written down somewhere. I haven't really talked about them. I mean, I've hinted about them in videos, but I haven't wrote an article and made a whole announcement. But for this one, it is an OG colorway as well. Initially dropped in 2001. And they're going to drop on March 20th for $170. So far, I've seen Foot Locker have these on their release calendar. In 2025, the Nike Air Max 95 Pink Foam returned, and when they released, they sold out pretty quick. There was quite a bit of hype for them, and if you did miss out, the good news is that they are releasing once again. Now, this pair initially dropped in 2020, and then of course we saw the re-release take place in 2025. The 2025 pair features the Big Bubble Air unit, and the same thing with this one. The style code is exactly the same, so nothing will change. The only thing that's changing on this pair is the retail price. When they dropped in 2025, it cost $180. Now it's going to cost $190. But the shoes feature a black, pink foam, white, and reflective silver colorway. So far, I've seen that Finish Line plans to restock them. I'm not sure about other retailers, but I'm going to assume other spots will have them as well. But the pair will drop on March 28th, and the retail price will be $190. We have a new Nike Kobe Air Force 1 Low Protro that will be released in the summer. And this pair is known as Siempre, Hermanos. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this pair is actually inspired by the friendship formed between Kobe Bryant and Paul Gasol. Now, the official colorway is twine, baroque brown, flax, light cream, ocean cube, and metallic dark gray. Now, in 2012, Kobe Bryant and Gasol, they wound up bidding on a horse. Actually, Kobe Bryant won the horse at auction. This was for a 25% stake in the horse, actually. And then the owner of the horse allowed Paul Gasol to purchase another 25% stake in the horse. So between the two, they own 50% of this horse. And the horse's name is Siempre Mio, which translates to always mine. As most of you know as well, this is the year of the horse. So just another connection to everything. So the Siempre Hermanos actually means always brothers. And as you can see, it features a tan suede on most of the upper. The brown swoosh features pony hair. They also feature light blue accents on the heel with the Kobe Shield logo and across the translucent rubber outsole. It also comes with stitch detailing across the heel, and then it comes with a metal horseshoe lace dubre that reads Siempre Hermanos. The overall look reminds me of a cowboy boot, but these are decent. I actually really like them. Now, as for a specific release date, unfortunately, I don't have one, but the pair will drop summer 2026, so sometime between April and June, and the retail price will be $150. Another shoe I did talk about in the release dates video just because they are expected to drop in March, but they definitely need to be included in the news video, and this is the Nike Kobe 3 Low Protro Mamba Magic, and this is our first look. So this pair features a dull, white, and pink foam colorway. Now this will be the first Kobe 3 Low Protro that will be available at more retailers, at least expected to. The first pair, being the warning label, was only available from Nike at the Grove in LA during All-Star Weekend, of course. And this pair is expected to pop up at a few additional retailers. Now the inspiration for the shoe is the night lights that come on at the Forum. I'm not sure if it was back in the day or currently. I know obviously the Lakers no longer play at the Forum, but the Forum is still up, and I just came across an article that said that the Lakers discussed moving from the Staples Center, now known as Crypto Arena, to the Forum for the 2025-2026 season. This was back in 2019, but I had no idea about it. Obviously, it didn't happen though. Now, the Lakers played at the Forum from 1967 to 1999. Kobe Bryant played there from his rookie season until 1999. And at night, the Forum, the lights, they have this purple hue to them. Obviously, a nod to the Lakers. I don't know if it's still like that, but it was back in the day, apparently, at least according to some images I saw. So that's why you see purple on the mesh style pattern across the panels. I actually like it. I think it looks really good. Better than the warning label, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of the whole shiny finish of the warning label, but maybe some of you guys are. Now, as for a release date, the pair is scheduled to drop on March 13th, and the retail price will be $190. We got a couple more 2027 releases from Nike, and the first one is the NOCTA Nike Air Max BW. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. I just grayed out the Persian Violet pair and added a NOCTA logo. Now, although this information has been going around, I can confirm that yes, they will be releasing in 2027. Now, other than that, I don't have additional details. For example, the specific colorway, how it'll look, anything like that. Now, more importantly with this information, I really hope that we see some Air Max BW colorways return in 2027. They probably should have dropped this year. Since the Air Max BW dropped in 1991, 2026 celebrates its 35th anniversary. So with the spring timeline, it means that they're going to drop sometime between January and March, and currently no retail price. Okay, also dropping in 2027, we have the Undefeated Nike Air Tune Max collaboration, which I find really dope. The Air Tune Max is one of my favorite Air Max models. And before I continue, again, this is a mock-up. I don't know how they'll look. I don't have the colorway or anything like that, but I can also confirm that this is a pair that will be released in 2027. Now, more than likely, we'll see a few additional colorways as well. Undefeated really isn't known to drop one pair, aside from the Air Jordan 4. Now, the Air Tune Max was originally released in 1999. It's also part of Nike's Alpha project. We also saw the model return in 2021, which included the OG Celery pair returning in a bunch of additional colorways. Now, for this pair, we don't have a specific release date, but again, they will drop spring 2027, which means they'll be available sometime between January and March, and currently no retail price. Okay, moving on to Jordan Brand, and new photos finally popped up of the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Floral Swoosh. Now, I don't think many people care about this release, I'll be honest, at least from what I saw, but I did want to showcase the new photos because prior to this, yes, it did have a handful of angles and stuff, but the only thing is that the quality of the photo wasn't that great. The lighting, it was off, made it look more blue, but with these images, it gives us a true representation of what's to come. Now, the official colorway is Cell, Off-White, and Coconut Milk. Now, the shoes are known as Floral Swoosh for the obvious. It has flowers on most of the swoosh. However, I'm pretty convinced at the front of the swoosh, that is a bunny's head or a rabbit's head. And with Easter around the corner, this could be a pair inspired by the holiday. Now, this pair will drop in men's sizing on March 18th, and the retail price will be $165. Another shoe that I did go over in the release dates video, but I'm also going to include it in the news video, and that is we have a release date for the Air Jordan 3. Spring is in the air. Now, this pair features a cell, jade aura, ice carmine, muslin, and iris whisper colorway. The thing I do like about this shoe is the elephant print. I think the way they did it and the colors used make it stand out a little bit. Now, I know that Nike Air shouldn't be on every shoe, and initially I thought Nike Air shouldn't be on this shoe, but after seeing these images, I don't mind it as much. I like the somewhat milky, translucent backdrop and then the Nike Air in pink. One more thing I do like about this pair as well is the aged midsole. Now, I know a lot of people do not like aged detailing, but depending on the shoe, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part, I do like it just because it reminds me of vintage pairs. Now, as for the release info, they're going to drop on March 28th. They'll be available in full family sizing. This will also be a GR, easy to obtain, and the retail price will be $215. Overall, I'm really excited about the Air Jordan 14 Black and University Blue, and some new photos did pop up, and these are from Finish Line. Now, there's one thing that I don't like about the shoe, and it could just be for this specific pair that they took a photograph of. You might notice it kind of indents where the tongue is, it dips in. That part reminds me a lot of the older molds, and I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that look. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, that's small, and it is small, but I did want to point it out, and it's not going to stop me from buying a pair, because in my opinion, this is the #1 release in March. Well, at least for me. Now, this pair initially dropped in 2006, so it is celebrating its 20th anniversary. It was also an LS release, part of Jordan Brand's Lifestyle series. About 4 or 5 years ago, I wound up picking up my size. I bought them on StockX, and personally, I don't mind that they're returning. I know some people who buy, older pairs or some of the rare stuff, they get upset when a sneaker returns. That's not me. Now, there's a pair that I really want to be released, and that's the Air Jordan 14 UNC. Not the low top version, but the mid top, which was only released at East Bay in small quantities. Now, the rumor was back then that Jordan Brand made too many pairs for the University of North Carolina who wore that shoe, so they gave them to East Bay and they sold them. Now, that pair I did buy, probably like 10 or 15 years ago. No, it had to be longer than that, maybe closer to 20. And you barely ever see pairs going around for sale. They go for a ton of money now. If I had to guess, $2,000 to $3,000 maybe. And still, I want that pair to return. I would love to wear them. But yeah, hopefully we will see those one day. But for the Air Jordan 14 Black and University Blue, this pair will drop on March 21st. The retail price will be $215. It seems that the whole Whitaker group has quite a few collaborations coming from Jordan Brand. They got a handful of Air Jordan 11 low releases, and so far at least one Air Jordan 1 low. And for the holiday season, we have the Social Status Air Jordan 1 low OG dropping. Now, Social Status is under the Whitaker group, which includes Alma Maniere, Jade, APB, and Social Status. Now, what's shown here is a mock-up. However, it is an accurate mock-up of what's releasing. Now, let me take that back because things could change, but I was able to see the shoes, and this is what's dropping. Now, one thing that stood out to me is the overall blocking. It reminds me of the Chicago Air Jordan 1 low OG. I saw a lot of people saying that Social Status used the Chicago Air Jordan 1s that have been sitting. I thought that was a little bit funny, but they've also added this blue mesh-like material on the panels, and then the heel, the overlay, is done in brown, and it also has cracked leather. Now, the shoes also come with an aged midsole, and as far as Social Status branding, I'm not sure. I just saw a side view of the pair. They are officially labeled Social Status. I know in the past there was an Air Jordan 6 collab, and I don't believe that collab had any Social Status branding, although they were labeled Social Status. I'm not entirely sure, but one thing, I know some people are going to say I'm hating, but I really don't care. I'm just happy that Alma Maniere currently does not have any Air Jordan collabs. James Whitner is still collabing, obviously through Social Status and Jade, as well as APB. And this pair is ugly, in my opinion. I don't like them at all, but I will say it's something different. Now, as for a specific release date, unfortunately, I don't have one, but they will drop this holiday season, so sometime between October and December. Aside from new pairs leaking in this video, there's also been some updates for stuff I've already talked about, and one of those pairs is the Air Jordan 3 Santa. Now again, this is a mock-up, however you can expect this color blocking to be released. Now although I saw the shoes, I'm going to say expect because there is a possibility some things could change, but overall this is what I saw. The pair will also have Nike Air branding on the heels. It'll feature red across most of the upper, white on the midsole, the tongue, the liner, which I feel is a mistake. I'm not a fan of white on the lining, especially since I wear black socks. That's definitely going to stick to that. But the cool part about the shoe is that the insoles will feature the Air Jordan 1 Chicago being worn by Santa Claus. Now, this actually comes from an old print ad from '85 that had Santa Claus either coming down or going up the chimney. I'm not entirely sure. But his feet were hanging out and he was wearing the Chicago Air Jordan 1. You know, it would have been really cool if they did the Chicago Air Jordan 1. They remixed it a little bit, made it more Santa inspired, and then had that on the insoles. Kind of a different choice to pick the Air Jordan 3. I'm not mad at it though. Now this pair will drop on November 21st and the retail price will be $215. Okay, another updated mock-up, we have the Air Jordan 4 Bin 23. Now again, this is a mock-up, but you can expect the pair to be released like this. Another shoe that I did see. Now the inspiration for this pair is the Wild Wild West. Now from what I saw on the tongue, it'll have laser detailing. Maybe that's a nod to the Air Jordan 4 laser that dropped back in the mid-2000s. The shoes will also feature Nike Air branding on the heel and the Bin 23 stamp. You can also see the different colors of brown used. The official colorway is Fauna Brown, Baroque Brown, Muslin, and Gym Red. Now, as far as materials go, they feature suede and high-grain leather. And the shoes also feature an aged midsole. Now, I would assume that only 2,300 pairs will be released because that's how the other Bin 23 releases are coming this year. And as for the release date, this pair is currently scheduled to drop on December 26th, so they're really trying to come after everybody's Christmas money. And the retail price will be $355. On January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. This isn't just government spending. It's a declaration of intent. America needs uranium, domestic uranium, and it needs it now. Here's the reality. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That means we're dependent on foreign supplies for 98% of our uranium, a critical vulnerability for national security, power generation, and advanced defense systems. With Russia controlling significant global enrichment capacity and Greenland banning uranium mining, the White House has made it crystal clear America must develop its own supply chain. This is where Atomic Minerals comes in, trading on the TSX Venture under ATOM and OTC under ATMMF. This company isn't new to the game. It's a team with a history of delivering major uranium exits. The leadership includes members who were part of the discovery and subsequent 650 million sell of the Rough Rider deposit to Rio Tinto. The question is, can they do it again? Atomic controls 4 100% owned uranium projects strategically located in the Colorado Plateau, America's historic uranium province, which has produced over 597 million pounds of uranium. Trading at an 87% discount to the peer group average, the company presents potential upside as the market begins to recognize its strategic assets and proven management team. America's first flagship project is South Lisbon Valley East, located in the mining-friendly state of Utah. The project sits within the Lisbon Valley District, one of the most productive uranium belts in the entire United States. The district alone has produced 80 million pounds of uranium. That's documented history, the proof that the geology works. On January 14th, the U.S. administration showed its support again. The White House invoked Section 232, a formal declaration of U.S. resource independence. This goes beyond support. Its mandate is energy security, which is now synonymous with national security, and the U.S. government is deploying its full fiscal and regulatory arsenal to secure the nuclear fuel cycle with North America. Atomic Minerals, trading as ATMMF in the US and ATOM in Canada, is strategically positioned to capitalize on this shift. Uranium prices have surged, and some analysts project prices could exceed $100 per pound by 2026 as demand outpaces supply. Supported by renewed government focus on domestic uranium, the exploration sector is entering one of its most active drilling seasons in years. With its flagship drill program approved, Atomic Minerals has exploration underway and is advancing with a focus on execution. I'll leave this with you. The team includes members who were part of the discovery and subsequent 654 million sell of a major uranium deposit to Rio Tinto, an exit about 59 times larger than Atomic Minerals' current valuation. You do the math. If you want to learn more about this critical mineral story and the team that already delivered big results, check out the link in the description. Remember, this isn't financial advice, as I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. As I mentioned, the links are provided in the description below. A special thanks goes to Atomic Minerals for making today's video possible. And now, back to the news. I have a feeling that this pair will do really well when it drops, but I have a small update on the Air Jordan 5 Halloween. Now, what's shown is a mock-up, but you can expect it to be released in this blocking. So a little bit different compared to the previous mock-up. The official colorway is black and picante red. Now, they will feature contrast stitching throughout, but the Nike Air branding on the heel will glow in the dark, and I believe that might be the first time that the Nike Air on any Air Jordan glows in the dark. The number 23 will have the accented stitching as well. Picante red will land on the flames located on the midsole. Also, from what I saw, the contrast stitching is expected to glow in the dark as well. I forgot to mention that. Now, that could change, as well as the rubber outsole. Now, the inside of the tongue will have XX. The overall inspiration is Frankenstein, with the whole stitches and things like that. But this pair will drop on October 24th, and the retail price will be $220. I have a feeling that some people might get mad about this information, but I have details on the upcoming Air Jordan 41. Now, what's shown is a mock-up. However, again, you can expect the Air Jordan 41 to look like this. I was fortunate enough to see some documents showcasing how they'll look, as well as some additional information. Now, as for the tech, I'll go over that first, and then I'll get into the colorways and the release time frame, as well as the price. The shoes will come with the full-length Cushlon 3.0 sole, Zoom X in the forefoot, and Zoom Air in the heel. The model also features a full-length Zoom Air strobel. Now, as for the build, it features carbon fiber mesh, a leather toe overlay, an injection molded shank plate, and a speed lacing system. So far, there are 5 colorways, but you can expect more to be released. I've seen, I believe, 4 out of the 5. In this video, there's only 2, but I believe later in the week, we'll come out with mock-ups of the other pairs. But for this model, it looks like Paolo Banchero will be the face of it. He'll have his own Air Jordan 41. It's actually listed as the Air Jordan 41 Paolo. And his pair features a Rage Green, Habanero Red, Barely Volt, Black, Volt, and Illusion Green colorway. Now, the second pair is known as Black Reflective, and it features a black and metallic silver colorway. Those are the only 2 pairs that we did mock-ups for. Now, moving forward, these additional colorways, no mock-ups as of yet, but I did see a preview, so expect something to pop up soon. Now, the first pair is known as Lilac Glow, and it comes dressed in Bright Concord, Laser Fuchsia, Urban Lilac, and Infinite Lilac. The fourth pair is the Rainbow Reflective, and it features multicolor, black, light smoke gray, and photon dust. Lastly, we have a pair known as Football Gray, and it features football gray, chrome, black, and aluminum. Now, all 5 pairs will drop this holiday season, so sometime between October and December. Now, I did see placeholder dates which had the pairs dropping on the 1st of each month. I don't think that's accurate, though. And we have 2 different retail prices. So the Paolo Banchero pair and the Football Gray, they'll cost $150, and then the Rainbow Reflective, Lilac Glow, and Black Reflective pairs will cost $145 each. Now, I'm really surprised on the price change because the Air Jordan 40 cost $205, so that's over $50. Now, in my opinion, looks-wise, only going off looks, this is a step down compared to the Air Jordan 40. The 40 looked really good in my opinion. This pair kind of looks like it could be like a Luka signature shoe, or even a step down model of the 41. But like always, let me know your thoughts down below. Okay, now we're going back to updates, and I have an update on the Free the Youth Air Jordan 3. Now, I believe it was last week, I announced that the shoes would be released and I put out a mock-up. Now, I was up front with you guys. I said what I saw, it was kind of hard to see. It was really small and grainy, so I'm not sure if the mock-up's going to be 100%, but it did reflect what I initially saw to a certain point. However, I was able to see a better look at the shoes, and now what's shown is the expected color blocking. So this is what I saw. The official colorway is black, pink prime, and clear jade. Now, comparing to the Air Jordan 16, I think the Air Jordan 3 looks a lot better. This pair is definitely vibrant. However, it does feature brown on the elephant print around the toe, and then brown covers the mudguard. We have purple on the elephant print around the heel, and then the shade of blue where the eyelets are, which I like that shade of blue. Now, FTY branding will land on the heels. I believe Nike Air will also be incorporated. Up top, we have pink, we have yellow on the laces, and then a black midsole and a matching rubber outsole. So definitely a vibrant shoe. Now, as for the release info, they'll first drop at Free the Youth on December 4th, and then they'll drop on December 11th at neighborhood retailers. Currently, I don't know the retail price. You know, this doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. I'll have a whole video done, and then some big information hits, and then I'm like, man, should I not upload the video, wait a day, and then upload it? Most of the time, I don't do that because there's still a lot of great information in the video. It's just that some of it I have to wait. Unfortunately, that's what happened with the Awake NY Air Jordan 6 in Midnight Navy. We recently got a first look at the shoes. Now, you guys might remember I did put a mock-up out of the shoes. I hadn't seen them. I made it clear that I didn't see it because I also saw some other news sources who are connected with the owner of Awake NY saying these will look nothing like them. And it's like, I clearly said that. It was just a mock-up with the information. It seemed like it was kind of a gotcha moment. But either way, I'm a little surprised because the whole mock-up of that shoe was just based off of the Awake NY Air Jordan 5 collab. The part I'm surprised about is that they do feature an A on the side. I had no idea about that. Maybe that's going to be their new signature. Obviously, it's different, doesn't have mesh netting within it. But from what I saw, a lot of people are not fans of this pair. Now, the official colorway is Midnight Navy, Infrared 2-3, Game Royal, and Light Blue. Now, the photos aren't the best, but they're good enough to tell what's going on. So we could see the Awake A on the lateral side. It won't be placed on the medial. We have blue across the base, a lighter shade of blue on the 2-3 and the laces, and then a darker shade, which almost looks like it's denim around the heels. I feel like the midsole being black and infrared is a nod to the infrared Air Jordan 6, but it does have speckled detailing, which is a little bit different. As well, the contrast stitching throughout, I kind of like that. Now, it looks like we have Nike Air on the heel. We can kind of see it from the medial side photo, and then I'll have a milky translucent rubber outsole. When I first saw them, I thought, they're a little different. Yes, it has the A, but the overall colors, the blocking, it's different. And I think the more I look at them, I'm starting to like them a little more. But I am curious to see the other colorway, which hasn't leaked yet. It's known as Playful Pink, and that pair will feature a Playful Pink, Infrared 2-3, Shy Pink, and Arctic Pink colorway. Now, both pairs are expected to drop in September. Unfortunately, I don't have a specific release date, and the retail price will be $230. Okay, now we're going back to updates on some of the stuff that I've leaked in the past, and next up is an update on the Air Jordan Black Pack. Now, I did post this on Twitter last week. As most of you know, the Black Pack consists of 4 colorways. It's also a nod to the Air Jordan 4 Black Cat, but each pair will have exotic detailing. Now, those 4 pairs in this pack includes the Air Jordan 14 Low, the Air Jordan 15, the Air Jordan 16, and the Air Jordan 17 Low. Each pair features a black and off noir colorway. And recently, I was able to get a better look at the pack. So what you're looking at is how each pair is expected to be released. Now, the Air Jordan 14, it'll feature ostrich print across the upper. Definitely picking those up. The Air Jordan 15 has snakeskin on the upper. It also features that new tongue. The Air Jordan 16 has gator on the shroud, and the Air Jordan 17 Low features stingray on the upper. Now, for each pair, I don't have a retail price for, unfortunately. I'm sure it's going to cost a little bit more than usual. Hopefully, it's not bin 23 prices because Yeah, I'm just going to buy the 14 if that's the case. Personally, though, I want the 14 and the 15. The 16 is nice as well. Now, we have two different release dates for the pack. The Air Jordan 14 Low and the Air Jordan 16 will drop on October 1st. Now, the Air Jordan 15 and the Air Jordan 17 Low will drop on November 2nd. Now, these will be available on the Sneakers app and neighborhood retailers, so they will be on the limited side. You know, I think this might be the last time I talk about the Air Jordan 11 Space Jam for a while. Over the past month, I've been talking about it a lot. I've been slowly getting new information about the shoes, keeping everybody up to date. Recently, I confirmed that the brand will use Varsity Royal instead of Concord, so we'll have blue detailing instead of purple. It also comes with a Jordan face box. So the overall look and inspiration comes from the 2000 release, not the pair from the movie, but it will have higher cut patent leather. I know some people have been asking. No, that's definitely staying. The pair will also have the number 23 on the heels. And I think the last question that people have been asking me is the branding on the tongue. And this pair will feature Jumpman Jam on the tongue. It seems that a lot of people were pretty excited about that information. And Jumpman Jam was placed on the 2000 release and the 2004 Air Jordan 11 Low Space Jam. Now, the 2009 and the 2016 release featured Jumpman Jordan. So, again, definitely another nod to the 2000 release. Now, I don't think there's any other questions that really need to be answered. But like always, if you have any more, I'll do another update in a future news video. But as for the release date, this pair will drop on December 12th. They'll also be available in full family sizing, and the retail price will be $235. Now, these next two releases I'm going to talk about will be on the limited side. And next up, we have the Air Jordan 11 Space Jam Galaxy. Now, I did find the inspiration behind the shoes. I also saw an update on how they'll look. And as you could see, the pair doesn't actually have Galaxy print on it. But it does feature this blue to purple to green gradient across the patent leather mudguard and the Jumpman on the ankle. Now, this pair is actually inspired by the cover art for Space Jam. You guys might remember it had Bugs and Michael Jordan. It was like a blue tint in the background. It also features the Space Jam logo, which has some hits of blue and green as well. Now, for the presentation, the image that they used was the one you see MJ on the court. It's just the Air Jordan 11 he's wearing, and it's right by the Space Jam logo. I'll include a photo so you know what I'm talking about. But the pair will feature a multicolor gym green, lucky green, and orange colorway. You know, I'll be honest, I don't think this is the right colorway. I think there was some sort of mix-up because, for one, there is no orange present on this shoe, nor what I saw, and two, there is another Air Jordan 11 releasing that nobody has talked about yet. I'll be 100% honest. In my opinion, that one's trash, but some of you guys might like it. I think it's horrible. Anyways, that information should be coming out soon. Still trying to get around to everything. Now, the release date for this pair has changed. They were supposed to drop on December 12th, but now they're going to be released on November 16th. And they're only expected to be released on the Sneakers app and neighborhood retailers. So this isn't going to be a massive GR. At least that is the plan. Obviously, things could change. But from what I last heard, which was like a couple days ago, these will be limited. Also, the retail price is expected to be $255. All right, so another update on the Air Jordan 4 Bred. And a lot of people will be excited about this update. You probably already saw it going around. I did talk about it on the website, on Instagram, and Twitter. But the 2026 release will come with white edges. So basically, they're making this pair as close as possible to the 1989 release. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've been running a website since 2006, and it seems that every couple years, I'm talking about a sneaker that is now closest to the OG. It's something that Jordan Brand and Nike have been doing for years. They're not giving us everything, but they're making it closer and closer. Now, from the looks of it, it's pretty spot on to the OG. The shape has been updated. It will come with Nike Air. The only thing that's going to have a lot of people upset, and probably the biggest downfall, is that the stock on these will be cut back significantly, especially compared to previous Bred Air Jordan 4 releases, even the reimagined pair. They had a ton of pairs available, but for some reason, Jordan Brand decided that they're going to make these limited. Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's because, you know, the Black Cement 3 sat or this shoe sat, OG colorways are sitting, and that isn't the case. Because even when these shoes are sitting and they eventually go to outlets, they still make money. And you got some people saying, well, it's a pride thing. You don't want to see these OGs sitting. That's why Nike is making them limited and Jordan Brand. No, let's be honest. Every huge company, 9 out of 10, do not care about pride. They care about the bottom dollar. They care about making money. They care about their shareholders. It's about money. Personally, I think it's a good thing that some of these OGs are sitting because you can walk in months later and pick them up on sale or just easily obtain them. Recently, I just got the UNC Reimagined Air Jordan 1. That was, I think, $120. And then I had a 20% discount as well. Walked into a local outlet, picked them up. I was super happy. I knew eventually I would get them. I just wanted to be smart, wait till they go on sale. I think a lot of people think that way. Now, getting back to this shoe, again, I do feel that it's a huge letdown that it's not a massive GR. Now, there's another thing that I'm not sure why they're doing it, but this pair will come with the Jordan face box. Now, as you guys know, the OG Air Jordan 4 did not come with the Jordan face box. The Jordan face box was used in the early 2000s. And when this pair dropped in 1999, which was the first time they retroed, they did not come with the Jordan face box. It was that silver box that was being used that the Air Jordan 13 and the Air Jordan 14 comes in. So I do like the Jordan face box, but I still think if you want this closest to the OG, then put it in the OG box. You know what? Something just clicked. We're going to see another release in 2 to 3 years saying it's now closest to OG because it comes in the OG box. Watch, we're going to come back to this video in 2 to 3 years, maybe a little longer than that, and we'll all be right. But as for the release date, this pair will drop on November 27th, and the retail price will be $220. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. Now, I do plan on dropping another news video this week. Throughout the week, I am going to be leaking new stuff, which I'll compile it in the upcoming news video, but the stuff that I'm going to be leaking, it's not like huge information. Some of you may appreciate it, some of you may not. But for my next video, I should have some exclusive info for you guys. Some decent info, at least. But let me know what you liked or disliked down below as well. If you have any questions, make sure to leave those down below. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.